Bienvenidos, ¿cómo estás? Welcome, how are ya? Today we're going to go over a couple really important things, but we're going to start with a verb that you're going to be using all the time. And this verb is to need, necesitar, all right? And to say, do you need, ... is necesitas. Necesitas. Necesitas pintura? Do you need paint? And this is really important because just like English, what do you need? What do you need to buy? When do you need to start this? When do you need to finish it? We can use this in so many different applications. So today we're going to start with necesitas. So necesitas pintura? That's an obvious question that we're going to ask. And another question that we could follow that up with is ¿qué tipo? ¿Qué, which is what, you know that from ¿qué onda or ¿qué tal? And then tipo, which is T-I-P-O, what type? So necesitas pintura? ¿Qué tipo? So what type? So now let's dig into a couple of the more common varieties of paint that someone might want to buy. So we're going to start with three of the most common ones. The first one is what type of paint? Well, we need a primer. All right, you're going to hear this. This has been kind of Spanglishized, if you will. It's become part of Spanglish. Primer is primer, right? Necesitas primer? You can just ask that question. That's what you're going to hear most often. You may also need a sealer, all right? ¿Cómo se dice? How do you say sealer? And sealer is sellador. Sellador. And you can see that double L, again, like the La Jolla rule of pronunciation. It makes the Y sound. But you can see seal right in there. S-E-L-L, right? And then ador at the end. So sellador. So you have primer, un sellador. And then you have one of my favorite words in the Spanish language. It is the word for enamel. So ¿cómo se dice? Enamel. Enamel in Spanish is esmalte. Esmalte. So how do I remember esmalte? Do I have a stupid way to remember that? Yes. Yes, I do. So I want you to be thinking about having a nice malted milkshake. You're guzzling it down. It's nice and thick. But instead of being a malted milkshake, esmalte, it's a nice thick glass of enamel paint, right? And someone says, hey, what you drinking? And you say, esmalte. Esmalte. Brian, you get it here? Get what I'm going for?
Drinking paint.
Drinking paint, exactly. So esmalte, what you drinking? Esmalte, right? So stupid? Yeah, undoubtedly. However, this brings me a lot of joy. So I just picture myself drinking a nice thick glass of enamel paint. By the way, don't do this at home. You will probably die. So you've got primer, you've got sellador, you've got esmalte. Now, where are we going to actually apply these? Well, two of the most common places are Spanish twins, and one's an identical Spanish twin. It can be applied to concrete, concreto, just add an O on the end, or it can be applied to metal, which is metal. It's identical. Now, this leaves two other areas that are very obvious. One is drywall. So, ¿cómo se dice drywall or gypsum? That is yeso. Yeso. ¿Necesitas pintura para el yeso? For drywall? Yeso. And I think of this because drywall is so common. It's the most common surface we apply paint that when someone says, oh, you're going to apply it to drywall, what do you say? You say, yeso. 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 It's also kind of fun to say. So yeso is drywall. That's the most obvious form. The other way it's going to be applied to wood is madera. 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 So how do I remember madera? Well, there's a lot of professional athletes or famous people that have wood or woods as their last name. So I just kind of slide them in. So maybe you can think of Tiger Woods. Well, that'd be Tigre Maderas. Or maybe I'm from Chicago. Really famous, awesome pitcher was Kerry Wood. Kerry Madera. Or maybe the actress, Evan Rachel Wood. Evan Rachel Madera. Or maybe it's a little throwback to the late 80s, early 90s. Some famous running back from the Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe you know him as Ickey Woods, the Ickey Shuffle. Well, just think of icky maderas. All right, I threw a lot at you today, including the icky shuffle, which you never saw coming. But we covered a lot of territory. Let's move on from today, but let's lock in necesitas, and let's lock in esmalte, ensayador, and primer.